cars coming around in some 20 degrees of air temperature, 40 degrees of track temperature. Perfect racing conditions for the spectators and for the drivers. Ricard Rydell claiming his first career European touring car pole for Seat ahead of Andy Priaulx, with Dirk Muller third and Hori Kane, who was pole sitter last time out, in fourth place. Fabrizio Giovanardi and Antonio Garcia ahead of Tom Coronel and Gabriele Tarquini, just ahead of Frank Diefenbacher. Augusto Farfus Jr., the third of the Alfa Romeos, in 10th, ahead of Jörg Muller, the championship points leader. Luca Rangoni in 12th spot, with teammate Salvatore Tavano 13th and Alex Zanardi 14th. Antonio Garcia's teammate a long way down in qualifying. Alessandro Balzan's Honda Accord ahead of Curtin Mollikins, who's Andy Priaulx's teammate, of course, his first view of this track. Stefano Daste and Carl Rosenblatt in the independent BMWs, ahead of Simon Harrison and Jan Magnussen in the Honda Civic and Peugeot 307. Behind them, Klaus Svart in the second of the Kali Motorsport BMs, and Toni Räikkönen, the Finnish driver, in his Honda. And Michele Bartien and Sebastian Grinert not having set qualifying times, starting from the back of the grid. Grinert, after an engine failure just at the end of free practice, unable to do qualifying. On board with Gabriele Tarquini, and Tarquini with a lot of work to do, down in 8th place on the grid. And this track, it seems, is demanding more of the chassis than of the engines. And the BMWs and Seats out front. There is the poleman then, Ricard Rydell, former British and Swedish touring car champion, and a long-time stalwart in the British Touring Car Series. And Andy Priaulx was following him. Hori Kane is following Dirk Muller right in front, the Schnitzer driver who lies second in the championship standings as they come here after 8 races in the series. Gabriele Tarquini lies third, Andy Priaulx in fourth, further 2 points back and only 9 off the series lead. And Fabrizio Giovanardi, who has won 8 championships for Alfa Romeo in the previous 9 years, is in 5th spot ahead of Augusto Farfus, his teammate. A lot of transmission shunt as Zanardi climbs the hill very slowly in a high gear, but everybody safely onto the grid in front of the Tata safety car. Pole sitter Rydell on the right, the yellow nose. Alongside him on the left of the screen is the Briton Andy Priaulx. Expect the Channel Island to get away well. Here comes Dirk Muller, the red windscreen strip on the white BMW, also getting away past Ricard Rydell. Front wheel drive cars, weight transfers off the driven wheels at the start. The BMWs goes onto the driven wheels, and a clash there as the 2 BMs tangle. Rydell's inside for second place. That's great opportunistic driving and exactly what you'd expect of Ricard Rydell. David Leslie further back with Tarquini. Got to keep his nose clean as well. There's his teammate Giovanardi, 2 cars up in front.
Yeah, he's very much wanting to score some points. He's got to try and keep out of trouble, not get any damage. But Rydell made a very good start. He knew he couldn't beat the BMWs off the line, but when he got into the first corner, he tucked himself right down the inside, and he was going to try and take that place back away from the 43 of Dirk Muller, and that he managed to do. So to get himself up there into second off a start with those BMWs, very good indeed.
Top of the screen, Jörg Muller is the white car, looking to make a move on Tarquini, the championship rivals of last season, and they were going wheel to wheel down towards the bottom of the hill. 2 kilometers into this 5.4 kilometer track, but look at the lead that Andy Priaulx's got. Ricard Rydell is holding up Dirk Muller, then Antonio Garcia, then Hori Kane, then it's Giovanardi, then Garcia, then Tarquini, and then Jörg Muller trying to get by him. On board with Zanardi. Further back, he's behind Salvatore Tavano in the Oregon Alfa Romeo, and in between the 2 of them, it looked actually like the other Ravaglia BMW, but I can see Garcia there, so it's not. It may well be Tom Coronel's car. In fact, that's the yellow windscreen strip on the BMW. You can see further back down the order. There is 43, Dirk Muller, and he will want to get past Ricard Rydell as quickly as possible, get onto the tail of Andy Priaulx, but Rydell's not encumbered by success ballast, and Dirk Muller is. He's carrying an extra 40 kilos into this race, and that won't necessarily give him much of an advantage in terms of handling into and out of the corners, which is what this track is all about.
Yes, this track's got a lot of twists and turns, a lot of uphills, and having that success ballast makes a big difference. And while Gabriele Tarquini's only got 10 kilos, Jordi Genet's got 10 kilos, but the two BMWs very heavy.
Jordi Genet nearly getting a jump start, but look how quickly Dirk Muller came away, and Dirk Muller was definitely looking for the lead from Andy Priaulx, trying to come through from the second grid position, but Rydell immediately knows what's going on. He plants himself on the white line on the inside of the circuit. There is a little rub even as Dirk Muller tries to keep Andy Priaulx in place, but can't hold on to the lead around the outside. That would have been a great start to go from third to first ahead of another BMW that started in the row in front of you. Andy Priaulx does lead though by 1.2 seconds at the end of the first lap from Rydell, then Muller, then Garcia. There's Genet, the other yellow-nosed Seat, Giovanardi, Coronel, Jörg Muller now ahead of Gabriele Tarquini. That's an important step for him because he's into the top 8 where the points count, and Tarquini's behind him. Then Diefenbacher Seat, Farfus in the third Alpha. No Audis here at all, and Luca Rangoni further back as the race continues. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
With KW, the sports shock absorbers specialist.
Andy Priaulx still leading in Brno and easing away from Ricard Rydell, with Dirk Muller and Antonio Garcia chasing. Then Jordi Genet running onto the dirt. Battle further back as Jörg Muller's trying to get past the 20 car of Tom Coronel, and Genet drops down the order. Giovanardi held up as well there. David Leslie nearly went off after him as we ride with Genet. There are the 3 cars that all got by him, and through goes Farfus as well. What a disaster.
Yes, certainly, Genet made a mistake there, just coming out a bit too quick, got himself onto the dirt, and he has really dropped himself back. He's behind his teammate Diefenbacher as well. He's lost about 4 places out of all that, but the first Alfa Romeo, I think, just followed him, and also lost 2 places out because of following him rather than concentrating on his own race.
Genet trying desperately to tow Diefenbacher down the straight there, back on board with the Spaniard. Of course, he started last weekend from pole position, but didn't manage to win a race there. Ricard Rydell hoping to be the first man to win a race for Seat. He was so thrilled for the team and for himself, I'm sure, to get that pole position in qualifying. And look at this fantastic action. The BMW of Jörg Muller being challenged by Fabrizio Giovanardi to get that place back, and he does. And he's got Farfus looking up to the inside as well. Oh, it's Tarquini. Tarquini inside Muller and up to the curb, so he's got by him. Now Jörg will come back down the inside, yes he does, and with him as well is coming Diefenbacher. Diefenbacher trying to go inside Jörg Muller down at the bottom of the hill. Well, he gets inside Tarquini because Muller opened the door, and Tarquini will have to let Jordi Genet through as well. This is fantastic! What a great touring car race this is. Brno just throws up fantastic scrapping, has done every year we've been here, and this year no exception at all.
It's just a chance of, there's a small space somewhere, they'll fill it, and if one person fills the space and goes down the inside, the other people are so close behind, provided they tag onto the bumper of the guy going through on the inside, that will take them through as well, because the guy on the outside just has got nowhere to go. He cannot come back in, and as they come out of the corners, he's left out to hang out to dry on the outside, either on the curbing or on the grass on the outside, and then disappears backwards. We can see here Tarquini really has lost about three or four places just in 2 corners.
Well, you saw it happen to Genet, who was at the head of this queue. He went off onto the dirt, lost a bit of traction, had to back off the throttle to sort it out, lost 6 places as all the cars in this queue streamed by him, and now he's back up the order. Well, here is the battle for third. That's Dirk Muller being passed by Antonio Garcia. We didn't see that happen earlier on, but it has happened clearly. There is Tom Coronel. Behind him is Giovanardi, Fabrizio Giovanardi in the red number 2. Then Jörg Muller. Behind Jörg Muller is Diefenbacher, because we ride with Genet and we're following as Seat, and it's not Rydell's. Rydell is still in second place, chasing Priaulx. Didn't see where Garcia got by him, but he's really been a fly in the ointment for the Schnitzer guys. He's now on their pace, as is Andy Priaulx, although Priaulx's ahead of them here, and he's really interrupted quite a lot of their otherwise well-organised team strategies.
Yes, Antonio Garcia very much wants to win. He really is, as you said, a fly in the ointment. He gets himself right in there, and he doesn't mind having a bit of a door banging with the Works Schnitzer's team. Andy Priaulx, on the other hand, is more of a gentleman, and he does find a way past, and is very quick, but doesn't do damage getting past at the same time. Where Garcia, who really doesn't care about who's around him, he just wants to be further that grid.
Well, we saw the replay earlier on, and I did say Haudikene just got a little roll before the lights changed. Now he put his foot on the brake and then went again. Nobody else was moving or the others were moving by the time he restarted moving, but the sensor would already have felt that he'd moved before the red light. So that's really cruel. He didn't gain anything at all from that jump start, quite clearly, but Hene with that drive-through penalty, and that's going to cost him big time. He'll go a lap down and he'll be well out of the battle here, and that's a shame. Antonio Garcia with Dirk Muller right behind him. Dirk Muller, don't forget, a point off the championship lead held by Jörg Muller, his teammates, as they came here. And 2 points, beg your pardon, between the two Schnitzer drivers. Gabriele Tarquini 5 points off second place. So still very much an open championship. 5 more race weekends after these 2 races have gone. So another 10 races after these 2 here at Brno. And I'll be amazed if we see another pair of more spectacular races than here at Brno. David Leslie, in the 3rd year of these Super 2000 regulations, it seems the field is getting even closer. The Alfa Romeos don't have an advantage, the BMWs don't have an advantage, the Seats don't have an advantage. It's just so close all the way down the order.
It is. The rules are well sorted, and they just got everything so close. Everyone's working to the same sort of package. There are small differences for front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive, and that's a really good balance that's worked out between the two of them. You can see the front-wheel drive, they're sitting in second place, and they're right up there with the Alfa Romeos as well, so it's very, very close indeed.
Of course, the grid will be reversed, the top 8 for race 2, but let's see who wins race 1 in just a second.
With KW, the sports shock absorbers specialist.
Closing stages of race 9 in the European Touring Car Championship here at Brno. Andy Priaulx leading comfortably, Ricard Riedel in second, away from the battle with Garcia and Muller. And then the battle, Giovanardi leading this queue. Giovanardi, Coronel, Jörg Muller in 42 you're looking at, and behind him that is Frank Diefenbacher. Then Gabriele Tarquini in 9th place. David Leslie, just thinking during the break about the last race weekend at Hockenheim, the Alfa Romeo 3-car factory Alfa Romeo team scored 3 points out of 2 races, and they were with Gabriele Tarquini. The other 2 didn't score at all. That's just an appalling lack of consistency and ability to stay on the track.
It is. Unfortunately, it came about because of an accident. Took all 3 cars out at once in the first race, and it's that ability to go out and score on a regular basis. Not only score first, second and third, but to continue scoring all the way down the grid. And here we can see, you know, car 43 there, which is Dirk Muller. He's in 4th place. But he doesn't give up, and his teammate is a bit further back, somewhere about 8th place, I would think, I guess, at this moment in time, but always scoring points. Okay, it might not be very many points, but the cars are always out there scoring points, and that's what makes a difference. This is a championship. It's a championship over around about 20 races in total, so you've got to keep on scoring points, and that's what makes prizes at the end.
Yeah, no drop scores, so you can't say, well, that's okay, Hockenheim, that'll be one of the race weekends we don't count, because everything counts here. And Haudikene lead us on to the last lap, and Hene may not even make it up to the top of the hill. Puncture, he'll come into the pits, and he will be a lap down at the end. He'll have to go back out, I think, probably. Well, that will certainly hinder his challenge as well. Well, that's a bit of a shame for him, and that might be long-term result of going off into that gravel track, possibly, David. Maybe something overheating the brakes, or the tyre having picked up some debris because of that.
I think the gravel traps tend to be little bits of stone tend to be very sharp, so it is quite easy to pick up punctures because of stones from gravel traps, either running through them like he was and often through the dirt, or actually bringing that dirt back onto the circuit for other cars to hit and run over. But here we are on the last lap at the moment with Andy Priaulx. Nice little lead, Riedel behind, and right behind him you can see that the next 2, Garcia and Dirk Muller. Very close indeed.
Yeah, Garcia in the widest BMW that you can see around here. He's braking early into everything, and Dirk Muller can't find a way around. There are loads of overtaking opportunities here, but you're going to have to really take your heart in your mouth on the last lap. Here is Andy Prio then. Haven't seen a very great deal of him. He's been leading on his own ahead of poleman Ricard Rydell. The front row men reverse positions but come home first and second. And of course Muller and Garcia started third and sixth, and in between them Hene, who went off, and Giovanardi, who dropped down the order as a result of Hene going off. But the BMWs outstarted the front drive Seats and Alphas anyway, and Dirk Muller, well, from initially being in second place into the first corner down to fourth place, Garcia clearly is really upping his game now and caught Dirk Muller somewhere. We didn't quite see it, but got by him for that final podium position. But for the Bart Mampay racing operation, for BMW Great Britain and Andy Prio, it's another win. He becomes the first three-time winner of the season, and David, that has got to be another great bonus for him. Remember back at Monza beginning of the year, he was saying his target for the year, he was third in last year's championship, his target for the year was to bang doors with a couple of Schnitzer BMWs and Alfa Romeos. Well, he again has claimed a race victory, and again in superb style, and Prio will now be laden with success ballast for the next race weekend. As you can see from the windscreen, no plus kilos shown on his car, because he does his winning in the first race of the weekend generally.
Yes, unfortunately last time he did win the first race, great, fantastic, but unfortunately the second race he had a problem with the car and it stopped and didn't finish that, so therefore that's why he started this one with no weight on. But having won this one, he'll now start off in 8th place, reverse grid, remember the first 8, turn around, so there we are in 8th place, decent backer, so he'll now be on pole position. Next door to him will be Jörg Muller. That'll be fantastic for Jörg. He will really want to win that second race, and I'm pretty sure he's capable of doing that. But only one Alfa Romeo in the top 8 cars, and that was Giovanardi. Bad day for Alfa Romeo. They've been used to being at the front, they've been used to all being up there and scoring lots of points, and all of a sudden this last 2 races they really are struggling.
Well, you wonder why all these cars are so close together, but the simple fact of the matter is, although Ricard Rydell in qualifying was nearly half a second away from Andy Prio, first and second, from Prio in second down to Alessandro Balzan in 15th position rather, there was less than a second covering those 14 cars. That's why it's so hard to get up the order if you miss qualifying. Alex Zanardi, car stopped on the last lap, so the Italian driver will have to get a lift back to the pits, and they will have a bit of work to do to make sure that that car is sorted out. In fact, there was a bit of a shuffle up at the tail of the field, because there were a couple of changes. Jan Magnussen moved up the order quite substantially, 3 or 4 places I think, and Sebastian Grunet a couple as well, just outside the top 15, but no changes among the top order. And we'll be back as we go live again to Brno in just a second.